So it's no mystery that we're not exactly getting a lot of Star Wars games right now. Since the release of Jedi Fallen Order in November 2019, it's been bare bones to say the very least. Star Wars Squadrons did come out in 2020, but majority of people either didn't play it or played it for 5 minutes and then were done with it. And 2021 was set to be the savior, but that's not exactly been the case. But with Lucasfilm Games rising from the ashes in January of this year, the future in terms of Star Wars games is looking really, really good. It's just going to require a little bit of patience before we actually start seeing some games. So between all the supposed leaks, confirmations, unofficial confirmations, and rumors, I thought I'd do something I haven't done before and compile every upcoming Star Wars game, both confirmed and unconfirmed, into one big video, and determine the likeliness of them being released, whether or not they're actually confirmed yet, and what time frame we can expect them to come out. And I will say, putting this list together and researching for this video, there is potentially a lot more in store for us Star Wars fans than we'd actually first think. So if you are new around here, then feel free to hit that subscribe button for more Star Wars game content, and let me know down in those comments below what Star Wars game you want to see released the most in the upcoming few years. But before we get into that, we do have a quick sponsor for today's video. This video is once again brought to you by our friends over at ownersaber.com. If you're after a great high quality lightsaber with a ton of cool effects and designs, then these are the guys for you. Now, they're currently running a special where all lightsabers will be 30% off for the remainder of this month, with new lightsabers being added every week. As well as that, you'll receive a free display stand with every purchase. Now, they've also added 2 new dueling lightsabers to their store, as well as 4 new Profi board lightsabers, so plenty of options. So be sure to check them out through the link in the description below to pick yourself up a brand new lightsaber. And once again, a big thank you to Owner Saber for sponsoring this video and being an ongoing supporter of the channel. But now, let's dive into it. LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga is one of the more recent confirmations in this video. Originally slated for a release nearly a year ago, recently we found out at Gamescom 2021 that LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga would be getting its official release date in spring 2022. Probably a little bit later than most of us were hoping, but it is nice to see that the game, despite all the delays, is going to be coming out in the somewhat near future. And judging from everything that's actually been revealed about this game, it looks very promising to say the least. Containing content from the prequels, originals, and the sequels, the biggest moments of Star Wars across numerous different planets and locations, this game is looking the goods so far. LEGO Star Wars games have been a big deal for many Star Wars fans for nearly 2 decades now, and this is surely going to be the biggest of them all. TT Games' Star Wars project looks to be one of the biggest projects in recent memory from them, and providing it isn't met with another delay, this will be coming out, like I said, in spring 2022, and it's going to be sorely appreciated by Star Wars fans everywhere that have had virtually nothing to enjoy for a couple of years by that point. Name 2 things Star Wars fans want the most when it comes to their Star Wars games. Most people would probably say an open world Star Wars game, and probably Battlefront 3. But a surefire third place would be a new Knights of the Old Republic game, and it seems we are getting a remake of the beloved BioWare masterpiece from 2003, and although it's not confirmed officially, it looks like it's actually going to be happening, and it's not going to be from EA. And considering that it's not going to be from EA, this gives us a really strong indicator on when we could actually be seeing this game released. And that time frame is late 2023 or most likely 2024 due to EA's Star Wars exclusivity coming to an end in 2023. But who's going to be making this game? Well, according to Jason Schreier, a well-renowned Bloomberg reporter who broke the news, the minds behind this game will be Aspyr Media, who have recently been responsible for several Star Wars game ports, which is what they're mainly known for. Aspyr's involvement was later confirmed by multiple other sources that yes, they are in fact taking charge of a full-blown KOTOR remake, which would undoubtedly be one of their biggest projects to date. So the likeliness of this game coming is very, very high, and I think it's only a matter of time before it gets announced officially, and I'm sure that's going to make a lot of people really happy. EA's rumoured Battlefront spin-off is more down to interpretation than a straight-up definitive Battlefront spin-off. We do know that EA did cancel a Battlefront spin-off a couple of years ago, but this potential game has a lot of damning evidence and absolutely leads to a project containing Battlefront 2's campaign characters. Naturally, due to that, people believe this to be a Battlefront spin-off game, with a lot of people imagining the game's title as something like Battlefront Inferno Squad. Now, like I said, this potential game has some convincing evidence, so I'll go over that now. So Battlefront 2's campaign consisted of characters Iden Versio, Del Meeko, Gideon Hask, and Admiral Garrick Versio. Now, 3 of the 4 actors behind those characters have all been working in motion capture at the same time, with 2 of them confirming that they were in fact working together, as well as teasing things on Twitter amongst one another. And if that wasn't enough, there was also a lot of Twitter engagement between the actors and a man by the name of Mitch Dyer. Now, who is Mitch Dyer and why is he important? Well, Mitch Dyer is actually the writer of the Battlefront 2 campaign. There was a lot of cryptic tweeting back and forth between all of them, with a big emphasis on keeping things hush-hush. Now, this would fall into line with EA's confirmation that they are working on multiple projects, and given that EA tend to stick with established franchises, it would make complete sense for them to milk the Battlefront name with a spin-off, rather than go all out on a new Battlefront 3 or an entirely new project. So I expect this game will come towards the end of EA's exclusivity in 2023, but there is a small chance, if the game does exist, that it could actually be announced at EA Play Live 2022 and released a few months later, similar to Squadrons in 2020. Now, the rumored Mandalorian game is a game that we know very little about, and realistically, it's all down to the word of one industry insider. He mentioned the game earlier than he was supposed to, and more than likely burned his source in the process. This came from industry insider Special Nick on Twitter. He went and said, okay, so a little bit of a whoopsie, yeah, there's going to be a Mando game. Apart from this, there isn't that much we know about the game, but like I said, he is a gaming industry insider who has proven himself in the past. And there are also rumors that this game could be an Xbox exclusive, as the catalyst for this actually coming out was a Phil Spencer false tease, who is of course the head honcho of Xbox. It was an interview with him which originally led the industry insider to reveal the Mandalorian game. This all makes sense in theory, apart from it being an exclusive. I don't think that's just ever a good thing, to be honest. But a dedicated Mandalorian game makes sense given the bounty hunter hype right now, and I would not be surprised in the slightest if this game does end up happening. Now, as of the time of recording, in the past couple days, a Mandalorian game, quote unquote leak, has actually surfaced, and it's got a lot of people talking. A lot of people thought that this may have actually been the very game that we're talking about right now, but from what I can gather, it's either a fan-made game or a very highly modded version of Jedi Fallen Order or Battlefront 2 with like a 1% chance of being this actual Mandalorian game. Either way, it does look great even though it's clearly rough, and it does give you a pretty good idea on what a game like this could look like. Now, as for the Mandalorian game's release date, it's so unknown when this game could be coming out. It could be next year, it could be 2023, it could be 2024. It's really hard to pin a date on this one. The sequel to Jedi Fallen Order is the most unofficial official game, I think, ever. Everybody knows it's happening, everybody knows it's coming, it's just a matter of when. This game was a total no-brainer after the huge success that was Jedi Fallen Order in 2019, and the ending of the first game hinting at more ventures from Cal Kestis, who's going to have a very pissed off Darth Vader on his tail in the expected sequel. And rumors say that this game actually began its development before the first Fallen Order game even came out, which would make sense as it probably wasn't that hard to tell that they had one hell of a game on their hands, and that was probably really obvious in the game's later stages of development. Now, although EA are yet to confirm the actual game themselves, EA CEO has said on multiple occasions that the Fallen Order franchise is going forward. And Respawn, the developers behind the first game, have made numerous job listings for future Star Wars projects in the past 2 years. The only thing that's really up for debate in terms of this game's existence is whether or not it's going to be released in 2022, 2023, or 2024. I'd say this game would originally have come out in 2022, but COVID no doubt played a role in pushing the game back to 2023, with a 2022 reveal at EA Play Live next year. That gives the game nearly 18 months of being revealed and promo, which is the same reveal and launch pattern as the first game, which I think is a highly likely prospect. So I'd say this will be a late 2023 release for sure. Ubisoft's open world Star Wars game was announced in January of this year, and it was basically confirming the one thing Star Wars fans have wanted literally forever. Now, even if you're not a fan of Ubisoft's constant and predictable open world formulas of the Assassin's Creed or Far Cry series, you've got to admit this game is a really exciting prospect with unlimited potential. The studio behind this game will be Massive Entertainment, most notably known for their work in The Division. Now, it's unclear whether this game will play like Assassin's Creed or Far Cry, or if it will literally be The Division with a Star Wars skin and full-blown open world. But whatever way they go, this is certainly a big step in the right direction for Lucasfilm Games and the kind of Star Wars games that we will be seeing in the non-EA Star Wars era. Now, it is unclear as to what the game is going to be entirely focused around. Details on the game are still almost at a complete bare minimum, but I think it's fair to assume that it's not going to be centered around a Jedi. Mainly due to the game potentially going dangerously close to what EA have going with Fallen Order, minus the open world element. But I think this game will most likely be a game based on bounty hunters or the Mandalorian. Think what Visceral's Project Ragtag was supposed to be before EA cancelled that a few years ago. And you've of course got to keep in mind Disney and Lucasfilm are just going all in on the bounty hunter hype that The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett are sure to generate, and I'd say this would be a pretty safe bet. Now, I don't see this game coming out earlier than 2024. I know some people are saying, yeah, potentially 2023. I think that's a load of bollocks. I just don't think there's any chance of that happening. I imagine an open world Star Wars game would have to take place on more than just the one planet. It would have to be huge in scale to be worthwhile, and as an open world Star Wars game that takes place on one planet, that would just feel like a waste of potential. So between that and the rolling over of the Star Wars license from EA, I expect to see this game no earlier than 2024. Star Wars Hunters was a bit of a surprise when it was announced, but it has since been delayed to 2022. Now, this game isn't a full AAA release, it's a game made for handheld devices, so that loses a lot of people's interest almost straight away, as most want a full-blown game. But there is still some interest out there for this Zinger project, as nobody really knows exactly what it's going to entail, but we do know that it's going to be a competitive arena combat game, which for Star Wars is a concept that actually has a lot of potential. Now, we did get a trailer drop in February this year, but since then, there has been no good news regarding this game, just a delay. Hunters, as it stands right now, is slated for a release in early 2022. So those are all the current upcoming Star Wars games right now, both official and non-official. A lot of people are probably wondering why Battlefront 3 isn't in this video. Battlefront 3 looks like it might happen one week, for it to then just get debunked a week later, and then it's just rinse and repeat. Whereas despite all rumors, none of these games have actually had the rumors shut down like Battlefront 3 has. Now, obviously, this video could be rendered non-factual in the coming months, so if you're watching this video in 2022, use your noodle, this info is probably out of date. You'd be surprised the amount of people that go back to year-old videos and wonder why the information is out of date. It really makes you think. But that is about it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel for more Star Wars game content just like this. And let me know down in those comments below which of these Star Wars games you want to see the most. And just lastly, if you want to pick yourself up some G Fuel, be sure to go through the link below and or use code Ozzy at checkout for a discount. But that is going to do it for me today. Thanks for watching and have a good one.